Yeah, we are laying up to stuff. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Backdraft and welcome to another episode on the Create With Backdraft SMP. This is episode number 6. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you love the Create mod, redstone engineering, and Minecraft automation, then this is the channel in the series for you. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications if you're enjoying the content. That way you'll never miss when another video comes out. So in the last episode, we built this bulk blaster over here, which turned out super cool. We were able to finish up the prettying of our mob spawning tower over there, and this area is starting to come together really nicely. But I'm thinking now that there's one thing that we're actually missing, and that is this area is supposed to be like a town or a village of some sorts, all similar to the pallets that we've been using on the tower and on the starter house over there. And right now all we have is just a bunch of contraptions. And actually in this episode I plan on adding, I don't actually have the blueprint on me, but I plan on adding another contraption over there, and it is going to be our gold farm. And on the other hand, we do have to design a couple houses because I want all of these farms to be inside buildings and to kind of pretty this area up a little bit. So those are a couple things that we want to do. And on the other hand as well, we have one of our neighbors over here, my friend Wargamer. He has actually paid us 10 diamonds and a netherite ingot to build him a mansion. So that is something else that we have to get around to. So that's the plans for the near future. I don't know if we're going to get to all of that in this episode, but we're definitely going to have to make another list. On the past couple live streams, we did a bunch of auto mining and farmed up as much zinc and copper that we possibly could to make a bunch of brass. We now have almost 400 brass ingots. We're going to need that for any future contraptions, and especially the gold farm that we're going to be building. Also, on top of that, we got ourselves a vein mining pickaxe. So we ventured out to a village and found a villager that had a vein mining trade, and we enchanted a pickaxe with vein miner. So in this mod pack, if you have a tool with vein miner on it and you break a block, it will actually break up to a specific amount of blocks in the same vicinity without you really having to do anything. So let me demonstrate this. If I break this grass, there you go. Looks like that was about 51 grass blocks. It's within a certain square radius around where you mine, I believe. And of course, if you find veins like copper or coal or diamonds even, it will automatically mine all of them by just breaking one block with the vein miner pickaxe. So this is coming in handy. So here's our list for this episode. Plan number 1 is we want to get the gold farm up and running. Then plan number 2 is to start designing some more houses. I don't know how many we're going to design. Right now, I think we're going to need 3 because we're going to have the gold farm, the iron farm / ore doubler, and the bulk blaster. So maybe we can design at least 1 in this episode. And then, of course, we have to get our friend Wargamer's house up on his side. I don't know. It doesn't fit, whatever. But we need to get Wargamer's house up, and we need to get a design for that as well. But first things first, I think we're going to concentrate on the gold farm. So I have the schematic for the gold farm right over here. You can see it in front of me. I can actually move away from it and you can see it in the world. So none of this is actually placed yet. This is just the schematic. These are just invisible blocks that show you where everything is going to go. And since we have our amazing schematic cannon, all we have to do is collect up the materials. So I have the materials list. I think it's right here in my ender chest. These are all the materials that we're going to need to build the gold farm. And since we do have the schematic cannon, like I said, this makes it super easy and mind-numbing to do. We don't have to worry about building it manually, which is going to save us a ton of time. So hopefully we'll be able to concentrate on designing some awesome buildings for this area a little bit more in this episode. But I have to go and collect up all the materials for this. That's why we ended up doing mining sessions and getting the vein miner. We did all that on live streams. If you guys missed my live streams, I live stream every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. EST sharp. Come hang out if you guys want to see some extra content on this server. But anyway, I have some resource collection to do. Alrighty, so we have pretty much everything that we need. We're just missing a couple things. We're missing the 6 crushing wheels, which I'm actually going to I think I'm going to make a mechanical crafter in this episode. So we'll be doing that before we actually get the gold farm up and running. We also need the 11 filters and the 60 sails. Now the problem with the filters in the sails is they both require wool. And slight problem, we're completely out of wool and completely out of string. Now, I do have a spider spawner, but it's kind of annoying to have to set up all the time. So I actually think the easiest thing to do is just make a simple wool farm. If we can go get a few sheep, we can set that up pretty quickly. And then as we're doing the mechanical crafting to make the crushing wheels, it should farm up some wool, I would think. So I think it's time we grab some good old Pokeballs and see if we can go find some sheep. Okay, there's 1, there's 2, and here's 3 and 4. Great. So now that we got the sheep, it's time to build the wool farm. I popped over to my creative world real quick so I could demonstrate the wool farm that I've designed. So what we have here is we have the 4 sheep in these pens down here, and we can actually have as many sheep as we like. We can pile in the sheep in each one of these slots here. Above the sheep, we have deployers, and those deployers are holding shears. We also have a few chests where we will stock up the shears to keep the deployers stocked. And then we have brass funnels off of the deployers with filters, and these are actually didn't mean to do that, but these filters actually have a deny list, and it's denying the shears, so that would mean any wool that gets put inside of them would automatically get filtered out and put into this chest over here. And you can see we have some wool collecting over there. The only difference we're gonna do for this on the live server is we're probably gonna have the white ender chest here so that we can feed this directly into the storage drawers. So this is a pretty simple design. We got a couple water wheels back here, making sure everything is powered up. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna need some wool to start off with this because we will need to build the filters, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we're gonna pop back over to the live server and build this so that we can get unlimited wool. The farm is now built on the live server, and we have already harvested up a handful of wool. So we actually have, I think it's 2 white, 1 gray, and 1 black. So we had to make separate drawers for each of those, but that's not a big deal. Here they are right here. Looks like we got about a stack of wool already, which should be plenty to get what we need in terms of the sales for the gold farm. Now, the last thing we still need is the crushing wheels. We do need 6 of them, and once again, to get crushing wheels, I built some earlier in the series. You need mechanical crafters, and our neighbors over to the, I don't know what direction that is. I think it's like the east or whatever. Our neighbors over that way do have a mechanical crafter, but I actually want to build one for my own use. So I think that's the next thing we're going to tackle. To build these, they are a little expensive because this is kind of end game stuff for the Create mod. We will need to build 21 mechanical crafters to get a full apparatus. But we do everything we need to craft these up, and they do require a lot of stress, so we're gonna need 3 water wheels to power the whole contraption, but that's not a big deal. We have all of the materials that we need to get this done, and we're gonna plop it down right over here in this little opening. So we're gonna go ahead and craft that to get our crushing wheels, and then we can finally get on to the gold farm. And here is the finished product. So we got the 21 mechanical crafters is set up in the right apparatus, and the arrows leading correctly in the right direction, so they all converge on this block right here. And behind, we just have 3 water wheels that are producing enough stress to power the whole thing. Now, the recipe for crushing wheels, we're gonna have to do this 3 times because each one gives us 2 crushing wheels. Is you have wood like that, stone there, and then the rest of the crafters have the andesite alloy, and then they will all kind of converge together, and you'll end up with 2 crushing wheels. So we're just gonna have to do this a couple times, and we will have the crushing wheels we need for the gold farm. This is actually pretty quick, so we can just watch this go if you guys haven't seen this done yet. Like I said, we did do this earlier in the season, but it is just so cool to watch. Everything kind of comes together, then you get a little sparkle, 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 and bam, you got the crushing wheels. And like I said, that does give us 2. So let's do that a couple more times, and then we can get the gold farm going. So that's all 6 crushing wheels ready to go. That should be all the materials we need for the gold farm. So we have it loaded up with gunpowder. We should just be able to press play. And did I forget to do that again? Searching. Is it trying to find the correct Y value now? There we go. All right. And we're good to go. So this thing might take a little bit because the gold farm is kind of big. It's always cool to watch this go. I think when that's the searching thing, it's essentially just trying to find the correct Y level. It's kind of like a cool little dance it does, like. All right, I'm not gonna bore you guys to death with this. Let's wait until she's done, and we should be all set. Oh. Okay, we're done. So here she is, the finished product. We turned her on and it is working gloriously. So let me explain exactly what's going on. So beneath here, we have the cobblestone generators. It's very, very similar to what's going on with the iron farm. It's pretty much the iron farm plus a couple extra steps. So first we take the cobblestone and crush it down into gravel with these wheels. Then these wheels crush the gravel down into sand. You could also produce flint. And then right here, the sand that's produced is actually washed, and you get a certain chance of getting clay from washing the sand, which will drop down. If I come up a little bit, you probably see some here. Drop down these funnels right here. The flint will also drop down, and it will get collected right up there, and that's actually going into our trash. So the clay balls collect in this mechanical press basin over here, and once you have 4 clay, they get compacted down into a block of clay. I wonder if we'll be able to see one. Probably if we wait a little bit. Yep, there we go. So then the clay gets dispensed out onto this depot and is bulk blasted into terracotta. Almost there, I promise. Then once it's terracotta, it's crushed by these crushing wheels down into red sand. And then the very last step is the red sand is washed for, I think, a 25% chance of getting some gold nuggets. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 12% chance of getting some gold nuggets. There's also a chance of getting dead bushes with this farm. That's fine. I'm happy to collect those up. The only other byproduct, like I said, is flint, and that is getting tossed into the yellow ender chest up there, and it will get shot out into our garbage disposal back at the starter base. So let me know what you guys think of this design. If you're curious about a tutorial or a schematic, let me know down in the comments. I think I'll probably end up doing a tutorial at some point, but once again, this was super, super fun. Let's get on to the next thing. And that next thing is to build another awesome building for our base. And what we're going to be doing is building an awesome looking house. Another one with a thatch roof that's going to look really cool. And it's going to encompass our iron farm over here. So if you think the iron farm looks a little different, you're not crazy, because I've actually changed it a little bit over here. So as you can see with the gold farm, we have the windmill, which is facing towards the sky, and I actually took this windmill and reversed it so it's going into the ground, and we can still turn it on. It still works just fine. Now the reason that we did this is because I wanted to be able to build a house around it and not have to accommodate the windmill. I think we'll be doing the same thing for our other contraptions as well once we get to building the buildings that go around those. So I have a super awesome design that goes around the iron farm over here, and we're gonna hit this in a third-person time-lapse. We got the camera account ready to go. We got all the materials in the chest over here behind me that we collected up on a live stream, so we are all set. It's time to go. Let's roll that music. roofs and enjoy the new building in our base. I think this turned out pretty cool, actually. So what we have is we have a traditional white house with a thatch roof, kind of inspired by houses that you would see in like old Ireland or Eastern Europe. I found a couple images on Google that I used as inspiration. I think it turned out really cool. The roof actually looks pretty sweet. We could do a little bit of a flyover here so you can kind of see it from the sky and with the rest of the area. It looks really cool. So the iron farm fits right inside of it, and it is just spectacular looking. And if you look at like the starter house and then this one, I think they match really well. I mean, the starter house is made out of oak and this is made out of white blocks. We got wool and actually chiseled white concrete. That's the Celtic texture from the chiseled mud for the white concrete, and then a little bit of diorite on the base as well, just to add a little bit of contrast. We also have really cool window panes that we set up with birch and oak, and then we have sills and overhangs for all of the windows, and it is looking really cool. I also need to let the vines grow a little bit more because I want more vines. It just gives it a little bit more of a gritty look, and you know, look like look like it's kind of part of the landscape here, which is really cool. So inside we just got some chiseled birch wood for the floor, which is looking really cool. We got lights all over the place to make sure that no mobs can spawn in here. And here, of course, is the iron farm with the windmill turned upside down in the ground. So like I said, if we did have the windmill shooting up into the air, it would have poked out through the roof, and that just didn't look right when I was doing it in a creative world. So let me know what you guys think of the build down in the comments. This was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, that is all the time I have for this episode, ladies and gents. If you enjoyed it, please do not hesitate to hit that thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to future episodes in the Create With Backdraft SMP, then hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I'll see you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah.